Alright, everybody, welcome to episode 53 of the Michelle and Tony Show. Today I'm here with my co-host, as always, Tony. And what we're going to be talking about is following a very trending topic that has been happening over the last week. I've been seeing, personally, I have little to no information on it. I've just been seeing a lot of funny memes on how the president of North Korea is feeling left out in the whole war. And he's being, saying, try involve me, but Trump is not involving him. And he's angry about it. But Tony has like first class information on it, so he's going to be sharing it with us today. Glad to have you on the show, man.
Glad to have me on the show, man. It's not on my shoe.
Glad to have you now. It's very glad to have you now.
Yeah. I'm glad to be on the show, man.
Yeah.
So what's good? Where do you want me to start from now?
Okay. Alright. So what does the president of North Korea want? Let's just start from there. What is his deal? What is his problem? What does he want?
First of all, that's just a meme. Like, it's just a meme. Because of it's happening in Asia.
Yeah.
Right? It's happening in the Middle East. That's Eastern Asia. So South Asia is saying, oh, we want to be part.
Okay.
That's like basically we want to be part. But it's not happening in their side. It's happening in what's it called? In the Middle East. So
why does he want to be part?
Because he's a lunatic. He's a psychopath. Although if he's going to be part, he's going to be basically worshipping. Because I recently saw this thing that he said nobody should insult Muhammad.
The president of North Korea.
North Korea, yeah.
Said that nobody should insult
Muhammad, yeah.
Do they worship Muhammad?
They don't have religion in North Korea.
Okay, they don't have religion in North Korea.
Yeah.
But then he's saying that nobody should insult Muhammad.
So it's clear that he's picking a side. You understand? With Iran. Yeah.
So USA is bombing Iran.
Yeah.
He's feeling left out.
Yeah.
And he's like shouting, involve me.
Yeah, it's not really shouting, but like people are just basically speculating that, oh, this man is basically like, yeah. Because how can you be parodying like someone that just always constantly parodying is like nuclear arsenal, right? Those parodying is nuclear arsenal. Like obviously now he wants to be involved. He wants to be part. Like he wants to basically make use of his nukes and his arsenals and his weaponry. So that's just why.
Okay, so why is USA bombing Iran?
Okay, now so if you want me to go into deep analysis of this whole matter, it actually goes deeper than just last year, because many of you know about the 12-day war between Israel and Iran.
Yeah.
But it actually goes deeper than that. So like now, what happened was that back in the 1980s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Israel was friends with Iran, bro. Like those the way Israel and Israel like. So I said Israel was friends with Iran. USA was friends with Iran.
Okay.
Iran was like their puppet child. That's the way Israel right now is a puppet child. Iran was like their baby.
Okay. Just the way like Israel is USA's baby.
Yeah. So but then what happened was US did not like the regime at Iran, so they changed the regime. After 20 years, they didn't like the regime, so they changed the regime. So Iran was kind of destabilized. Right?
Okay.
They thought that they could change the regime for the better. But they didn't know that by changing the regime they brought in Ayatollah Khamenei, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was like over 30 years ago or something like that. So they brought in Ayatollah Khamenei's regime. That's a spiritual leader. Then what we saw was US started hating on Iran. Then Iraq went to war with Iran.
Iraq went to war with Iran.
Yeah. And so US heavily sponsored Iraq. That is Iraq. Because they didn't like the new government that was in Iran.
Okay.
Yeah, so US was like they were basically changing all the governments, basically toppling the government of Iran. Then eventually brought in someone that they did not like.
Okay.
And because they didn't like him, they then went and said, oh, next door neighbor, Iraq, let's go to war with Iran. Let's go. And so they heavily sponsored Iraq through empowering militias. Have you guessed what kind of militia they empowered?
What?
Taliban, ISIS. Those guys.
Iban, who is Iban and ISIS?
Taliban. Now you know Taliban. You know the Taliban. You know the ISIS. You know the Al Qaeda, right? So US basically empowered those militias to fight Iran. Then after doing so, after empowering them to fight Iran and the Soviets, they eventually now give up on those militias. And then because the militia felt, oh, we've been abandoned, US went, or the US left Iraq and Iran alone, basically. So the militia felt that they were abandoned. They started causing havoc in Iraq, and that was why US went to Iraq in 2003 to solve the problem that they created. Right. So while this was going on, there was another puppet child of United States of America somewhere in the bush, trying to say, oh, I don't like this Ayatollah guy, let's take him out. I don't like anybody I don't like anybody. Like, I want to be the only person, in the world. Like, I want to be the only, I feel threatened by every single person. We might all know who this person are. Israel was like saying, oh, they're not happy, they're not safe, they're not safe in the Middle East. All right. So Israel was the reason why US actually went into war with Iraq, because Israel said, oh, Iraq was developing nuclear weapons, and Saddam Hussein was basically using chemical weapons on its members, on its people.
Was it true?
No, it wasn't true. They went to Iraq, they didn't find any WMDs. You get? And so they failed. By the way, they failed because the militia that they empowered warned them. Okay. Then Israel said, oh, Libya is developing nuclear weapons too.
What is Israel's problem, man?
Like, I don't know. US went to Libya, found that Libya wasn't developing anybody's nuclear weapon. But then they ended up killing Muammar Gaddafi. You get? Don't say when they killed Saddam Hussein, but they did not see any nuclear weapon. No MDs were found. You get? The same way now they are saying that, oh, Iran was developing nuclear weapons, which makes me believe that Iran was never developing any nuclear weapon in the first place. So you ask yourself, why is Israel trying to, pick war against every single member or every single territorial neighbor?
Yeah.
You get you. And why is US always doing the bidding of Israel? Right? So
US is basically doing their dirty work.
Yes, always. And it's always like everything. Like, I don't want to go into the whole idea of Israel and US, and we all know the whole nonsense conspiracies of Israel and US, and how Israel is always telling Iran, telling US that, oh, do this and do this and do this, and they're always going to do it. Do you get?
Yeah.
But now let's all talk about this war and how it has unfolded. We know about the 12-day war of last year and how US went and bombed Iran.
Yeah.
And said, oh, they declared their mission successful, saying that, oh yeah, they destroyed their nuclear weapon facilities with their B-2 bomber. You get?
Yeah.
But eventually, we see that 8 months later, US sends missiles into Iran, saying that, oh, Iran has almost finished nuclear weapons, which makes you reason. Something that took them over 30 years or 20 years to build.
How is it not taking them 8 months?
How is it taking them another 8 months to almost complete? It doesn't make sense. You claim to have destroyed it before. Yeah. So why go into Iran this time? So now, it now actually makes you wonder, what is the true reason, or what is the true reason why Iran and US are having this issue, and why Israel is feeling like, why do you war between US and Iran, basically? I'm missing. So that's the whole thing, right? Now, we understand what I was trying to explain something like very, very important.
Yeah.
Something called the petrodollar.
Yeah.
Right? The petrodollar is one of the backbones of the United States of America's economy.
Yeah.
And now what the petrodollar is all about is the sale of every oil resource, every petroleum resource, everything that has to do with oil and this thing, is to be sold in dollars, right?
Yeah.
Dollar denomination. And that is, like I said, the backbone of the United States of America's economy. You get me, right?
Yeah.
So the US will not want anything to undermine that, like, fortitude that it has always had for the longest time. But then, recently we saw Venezuela trade oil in its own local currency with China.
Okay.
That was why US won
Venezuela.
and kidnapped their president. Do you understand now?
Yeah.
So Iran is threatening, or how Iran basically enters this whole matter is, Iran is also wanting to do the same thing, which is trade oil in its own local currency, own local denomination. And Iran owns the Straits of Hormuz. Now, I know if you've been following this war, you know, the Strait of Hormuz has been basically talked about for the longest time. Now, what is the Strait of Hormuz all about? It's just like a seaport. It is one of the largest, I won't say one of the largest seaports in the world, but I'll say that is where 60% of oil trades happen.
Yeah.
Like, that is a global hub for the whole world. Like, the whole world is dependent on the Strait of Hormuz. Do you get? And Saudi Arabia and all these GCC countries are solely dependent on the Strait of Hormuz for food. They need food to eat, because every 90% of the food that is being eaten, that is being supplied in the whole of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, all these Arab countries, right?
Yeah.
It is from the Strait of Hormuz.
Wow.
So they send oil to other countries for food.
Okay.
You get? So the Strait of Hormuz is very critical for Saudi Arabia and oil in general.
Okay.
And because of it's very critical for oil, when oil is being basically passing through almost every single second, oil shipments is being passed through that distance.
Yeah.
US makes billions because it's being traded in US dollar. Now, Iran owns the Strait of Hormuz and Iran wants
To trade in their own
people to trade in their own local currency. Do you get? So that's why US wants Iran out of the picture, or they want Iran to fall back in line.
Okay.
Do you get? That is why for the longest time, or for quite some time, you see why Iran was US body. You get like the whole point why Iran was US body.
But now that they are now doing their own
Now they're now doing their own shit.
they're
Like
not their enemy.
they're not their enemy. You get that kind of thing now.
Politics, man.
So that is why, or that is the whole idea behind this geopolitical tension. Now, how does Israel fall into, like, what's it called? Like, how does Israel enter the whole equation? You may ask, why is Israel so obsessed with Iran and all those stuff? It is for eschatological reasons, right? Eschatological reasons. I'll just end it there. If you want to ask any questions, I'll end it there for now.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm on track. Iran was US boy.
Yeah,
Because I mean, you don't like anybody for no reason.
exactly.
They like them because they made billions of dollars from that their
Strait of Hormuz.
Strait of Hormuz, right?
Yeah,
So now Iran now basically wanting to do their own thing,
yeah.
trade in their own local currency. Now US
With
wants
China.
them- with China. Now US wants them to fall back in line or take them out of the picture. So they're now bombing them. Okay, so they are bombing them with the excuse that they did what?
With the excuse that Iran is creating nuclear
Okay.
weapons.
Okay.
Do you get?
Okay, so they're yeah.
Now, you might not ask, how does Israel fall into all this? Where does Israel come from? Like, who the fuck is Israel? So Israel is saying, Iran is an existential threat because of their declaring nuclear weapons. But then, to be fair, anybody that's supposed to be calling them an existential threat is meant to be the United States of America. So where does Israel fall into the matter? This is where conspiracy comes in. Right? Conspiracy comes in. And like eschatological conspiracy.
Yeah.
Now, we've all seen from previous years, since 2003, US or Israel has been at war with Palestine.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And we've all heard, because Gaza and Hamas bombs Israel, and so Israel is retaliating, that kind of thing. And for me, I believe that shit. But like I took back, I took my seat and I reasoned, wait a minute, what might actually be the reason? Because I started seeing hate from people towards Bibi Netanyahu. Do you get? I started seeing hate from people towards Bibi Netanyahu, especially from the United States of America. I was like, why is people hating on this guy? I think Israel is like the fucking whole like Israel of the Bible now. So that's what I thought. So I went to go and make my research on Israel. Israel was founded in 1948.
Israel.
Yeah,
How?
exactly. Which makes you think this Israel of the Bible and the Israel of the world right now are they the same thing?
I did the same thing.
No, they are not the same. So I'll tell you what they are. During the World War II, there was an issue with the Jews and the Nazis, right?
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler wanted the Jews out of Europe.
Yeah.
So he basically carried. I'm sure you've heard of the Holocaust now.
Yeah.
They like killing 6 million Jews.
6 million.
Well, that is true or no, that's left for them, right? I don't think it's true. And it's not true.
You don't believe that the Holocaust is true?
The Holocaust never happened. As a matter of fact, what actually happened was a Holocaust on Christians. During the time of the war, or during the time of the First World War to the Second World War, the Bolshevik committed the biggest Holocaust the world has ever seen, but nobody talks about it.
Yes.
Because it's of Christians. The Bolshevik killed over 30 million Christians.
Who?
The Bolshevik. So let's go to First World War to know who the Bolshevik is.
Fuck.
The First World War, the Bolshevik were like this Zionist party or this Jewish people that said, oh, we want democracy, we want capitalism in Russia, right? And then they killed the Tsars, right? And then First World War happens, and eventually the Bolshevik takes over Russia. Do you get?
Yeah.
Now the Bolsheviks kill Christians. The Bolsheviks were Jews, and they killed Christians. So from 1919 to over to 1942 or something like that, they killed over 30 million Christians. But nobody talks about that. What we talk about is the 6 million Jews that were killed during the World War.
Holocaust.
Now you ask during the World War II.
Yeah.
You know, you ask yourself, did the 6 million actually have? No, because in 1909, a report came about that 6 million Jews were killed. In 1912, 6 million Jews were killed. In 1919, 6 million Jews were killed. Like this whole idea of it being reported was just happening over time. 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews, which makes it one that maybe it was actually false. Do you know that the person that wrote the historical books of the historical books that the United America reads, and most of the historical books that are widely known in the world, was written by a guy named Maxwell.
Okay.
Robert Maxwell. Do you know who Robert Maxwell is? Ghislaine Maxwell's father. Do you know who Ghislaine Maxwell is? Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend.
Oh, fuck.
So it's like there is a
Wait. The person that wrote the historical books is Robert Maxwell.
Yeah.
Robert Maxwell's father.
Oh, daughter.
Robert Maxwell's daughter
Is Ghislaine Maxwell.
is Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell is Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So the person that wrote the book is the father-in-law to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah. So now you see that there is something. I don't know the story of Jeffrey Epstein and how he's very close tied with all this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a whole conspiracy on its own, right?
Yeah.
Now, the Nazi wanted Jews out of Europe. So Poland and all those countries that were very close to the US, very close to Russia.
Yeah.
Sorry, very close to Germany. Sorry. So yeah, the whole idea was he wanted the Jews. He had a problem with the Jews.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't want to go into the whole idea of Adolf Hitler and whether or not he's a bad person or a good person. I do think he was a good person, but let's not go into the whole idea of Adolf Hitler.
Yeah, please.
So Adolf Hitler wanted the whole Jews out of Europe. And so
Wait. Yeah, you stopped at the part where you told us that the person that wrote the history books is the father-in-law to Jeffrey.
Yeah. Which makes it look like the historical books were basically like exactly. So if you feel like everybody that was there during the war said that these Nazis were actually nice to the Jews. They actually asked the Jews to live peacefully. Like there was no serious war. It wasn't a serious war as many people said it was.
Yeah.
That's the people at the time. It wasn't a serious war. Just the way I feel like this war is currently not a serious war. But I'll get to that, for example. I'll get to that. But then I wanted the whole Jews out of this because the Jews were not they owned the media and they were pushing like adult related contents. They were basically behind all this game and nonsense. They were basically creating books that were about changing the whole this thing. These were the Jews that were running this shit. And then the Rothschild banks, he did not like the Rothschild banks because Germany, right, was at its worst period economically.
Okay.
Do you get? And he just became the president in a democratic fashion. You understand?
Yeah.
He won, and he saw that the state of Germany was not the best, and the people that were actually behind this were the Jews. Just the same way the Jews wanted to take Russia, and they killed over 30 million. The same Jews were destroying Germany. And so in 2 years, Adolf Hitler took Germany from over $36 million in debt to a world power. In 2 years, what did he do? He chased away the Jews and destroyed the central banks at the Rothschild start banks.
Yeah.
Do you get?
And that's how he was able to take.
That's how he was able to take Germany from being in debt, $36 million in debt. At that time, that was big money. $36 million. That was big money.
Fucking big money.
To what's it called? Like a world power.
Yeah, world power.
And now, US and all those countries did not like it. So they now said, war has been declared on the Jews, blah, 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 blah. Then, what we started seeing was the Jews that were taken out of Europe at the time, from Poland, Ukraine, and all those countries like that, they had to go to places for refuge. Do you get?
Yeah.
They had to, because war was happening in their country, and so they had to flee the country for refuge. The Jews. Now, the Jews go into a place called Palestine. At the time, there was nothing like what? Israel. It was just Palestine all through.
Yeah.
So then, Palestine was like, okay, cool. We would basically want to have you guys come and reside with us. Like, I mean, nice. Just like me, I have an issue with my house, and then I have an issue in my house, and then I said, okay, you know, come and tell me, okay, yes, just come and stay with me for some time now until you get your shit sorted out and everything. That kind of thing. That's how Palestine welcomed the Jews into Palestine.
Okay.
To get. Yeah. Then what happened was these Jews that were welcomed into Palestine, for example, they just comes and then they started seeing that Jews had thrown their luggage outside of their houses and then locked the door. Like, so for example, you welcome them into your house, right? Because I had an issue
with your house,
with my house.
Yeah.
And then you said, okay, can I stay there for some time until you get yourself sorted out.
Yeah.
Then one day you go to work and I'm in the house, right? And you come back and you see that your bags is outside. You can't get into your own apartment because I had changed the locks to the apartment.
What the fuck?
That was how these Jews started chasing out Palestinians out of their own ancestral land. Because by the way, if you don't know who Palestine is actually the birthplace of Jesus Christ. That's where Jesus was from. Jerusalem, Bethlehem, that's the whole thing. Palestine, that's the name that was rebranded after like centuries. They rebranded it Palestine. So that is an ancestral place for them. So the Jews now come into Palestine and say that it's their land. People that were from Europe now comes and say, oh, this is my land. Which makes you wonder, these Jews, are they like the actual Jews of the Bible? Like, who the fuck are these? Like,
are they like the actual Jews? Yeah.
You get. So now, like, makes you wonder, what is the problem? Why are they misbehaving? Right? Then all of a sudden, in 1948, they declared Israel
the country,
like, I say the Jewish nation. And now this Israel of a thing is now picking enemies left, right, and center, saying, oh, because we are the Jewish, and they're basically victimizing themselves. And saying, oh, we are a Jewish nation and we are surrounded by Muslim guys, so we feel threatened.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah.
So like that's like the issue now.
Playing hostage.
But the problem is you were never there in the first place. You basically forced your way into that place, and now you're claiming
that
you're surrounded by Muslims. Like, nigga, you walked into the fire. You knew it was fire in the first place. So like, and I felt nobody really saw saw Israel as any issue. But then until the fact that Israel did what they did to Palestine, and for the longest time they've been killing Palestinians. This is not like they've been killing Palestinians, like low-key killing Palestinians. So when Hamas, that is actually heavily sponsored by Israel, Hamas is like a terrorist group, just like Boko Haram and ISIS and all, sponsored by Israel heavily. But they don't tell us that part. Decides to bomb Israel and kill Israelis, notably a political figure that was against Bibi Netanyahu. Like,
Wait. The same terrorist group that Israel sponsored is now bombing Israel.
yeah. So like Palestine also sponsors Hamas too, right? But it is low key heavily sponsored by Israel.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yeah. Now
So-
Hamas goes to bomb Israel
Hamas goes to bomb Israel
and kills a notable political figure
that's against the administration of Israel.
that is against the administration of Israel.
Yes.
So what
The
does that
Israel
mean?
now comes and says, "Oh, they're killing Israeli people."
Oh,
kind of thing.
Okay. Okay, so they just used him as like, kind of like, bait is not the word. They use him as like to shade themselves. Like
Yes.
they want to show them that they are killing people, but they don't use their main people as the people that they kill.
Yes.
So they use someone
against the government.
the government, and then killing, and then they're not saying that, oh, he was our brother, and then he died,
and then Hamas and the Israelis are killing Israelis. Like, sorry, Hamas are killing. That's the Hamas guys are killing. So they started bombing Gaza. Now this is a war meant to be against Hamas, the terrorist group.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they are killing Palestinian children, women, bombing schools, bombing hospitals, saying that, oh, because these children will grow up to become terrorists, so that's why they're killing them. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm like, are these the Jews of the Bible, or are these?
Nah, definitely not, man.
So like now this is what is currently going on, and so now Israel has basically finished with Palestine.
Yeah.
Then they're going after Iran, and so now Iran is bombed by US because of Israel.
Iran is being bombed
by US because of Israel now.
Okay.
You get?
Yeah.
But then in retaliation, Iran sends missiles into all these countries, all these Gulf countries, because Iran is doing this economically. Okay, if I hit all these countries that heavily sponsored US, because all these all these Arabian government, like the GCC countries, the Gulf country, Gulf coastal countries, that's Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, UAE, all those guys.
Yeah, all these countries are guys.
Yeah, those countries are guys. They're the ones that heavily sponsor the AI technological boom in US. To get that, the ones that heavily sponsor that thing. So if they can hit all those countries and block, remember 90% of the food supply in those countries go through the Strait of Hormuz.
Wait, straight? Straight.
STREIT.
Okay, STREIT.
Yeah.
Of Hormuz.
Of Hormuz.
What is Hormuz? Spell the Hormuz.
HORMUZ.
Okay, Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So 90% of the food supply is gotten through that Strait of Hormuz. Now it is blocked by Iran. Yeah. So there's no food in Dubai and all this country. Like, that's why everybody they're saying that they are trying to, everybody's going back to their country, that kind of thing. Now, I'll tell you where this is going, because this is more than just what we are seeing on television. And I actually think it's not actually, but let me just continue. So Iran bombs these countries, but does not bomb anything concerning the country. It actually goes and bombs US bases in those countries.
Okay.
So it doesn't bomb any other thing. So Iran is taking pride. Oh my God, we bombed these countries, man. And United America can't do anything because US can't do anything.
Why?
Because US never promised them safety. US just put their bases there to basically make other people know that, oh, we are here.
We are here also.
But we are not going to defend this country. They never said they're going to defend this country. For you to think, oh, like we are going to psychological power. Exactly. That's why I feel. As I tell you that US has the largest army, does not have the strongest army. Yes. So don't be fooled. US will lose this war because they have all the weapons they need to win the war, but they don't know how to use them. They don't know how to fight. Every single war that US has gone in ever since the World War II, they have never won it. The Vietnam War, Afghanistan War, Iraq, Cold War, like this, they've never won it. Never. And they have the most sophisticated weapon. Every single day they're showing us, oh, we have B-2 bombers, oh, we have this, we have that. They don't know how to use this. They don't know how to fight. Like for all we know, Iran might actually have like the strongest. Iran might actually have one of the strongest army, because Iran itself is a fortified fortress. Like, do you know what Iran is? Iran is like a mountain top. Like, it's like a mountain. It's barricaded by mountains, and like they use those mountains as their military bases, so that they literally can see countries like from the highest top. So it's like they are basically fortified, like a fortress. They're like a fortress. You get. And so, like, now you're saying that we want to use ground troops because they're losing in the air. Do you get? That's why they want to use ground troops. But then those ground troops will actually fail because they'll be fighting the whole military. This thing they'll be fighting in a military kind of way, but then they're going to be fighting not just the Iranian army, but all these groups, like all these like Hezbollah, Hamas, all those kind of guys, all those terrorist groups that don't use military combat.
Yeah.
Why I think Boko Haram has been winning the war because we are using military combat to fight them. They're using erratic ways to fight.
Yeah.
Do you get? We have a structured. Every military has a structured way of fighting.
But then when they meet an opponent that
does not have a structured way of fighting,
yeah.
And the only thing that they have is passion and energy and that kind of thing. Like who the fuck goes with?
Going to lose.
Do you get? And then like US has never won a war since the World War. They didn't win in the Vietnam. They didn't win in Iraq, and in those wars they didn't win in Cuba. They didn't win in the Cold War. They didn't win in Afghan. They never won a war, and they know this. Do you get? So let's go back to what I was saying. So they're just putting all these military bases there to just basically like psychological power, right?
Yeah.
They can't defend the Arab countries. Now Arab is seeing it for themselves, right? Like they shot missiles at them and nothing has happened. Like US has not defended them. Yes, US is just doing what they want to do, what they are carrying out the war. They're not defending Arabs and they're not defending those guys.
Yeah, I'll ask you a question. Do you think that like there's a coincidence or it was structured between the release of Epstein's files and the whole Iran bullshit?
I think what did we have to know?
Sorry, because I saw a picture of a guy, his picture, and then on the caption he wrote Trump bombing Iran isn't going to distract us from the fact that he was in the Epstein files. Yeah.
Trump was in the Epstein files.
Yeah. Right. And Bill Clinton is so stupid. Yeah. He was looking at it and he was laughing and he was smiling. And the lawyer took it away from me. He was like, no, wait. Bro, go and if you go on Instagram, many people have used that thing to make videos. And they're using that song, Memories Bring Back.
Memories Bring Back.
Yeah, I think it's so fucking mad, guy.
They know it's all planned.
Yeah.
Everybody on the world stage is all in this together. Like they're all in Putin is in Epstein files, guy.
Putin.
Yes.
We don't understand, like, if you're in Epstein file, what does it mean that you did?
Well, it just means that you're part of the whole like elites that rule the world. Or you are part of the puppet that is being used by the elites to run the world.
So okay, wait. What did Jeffrey Epstein do that made him like very, very infamous as in like popularly bad?
So what we know him for is human trafficking and sex offense.
Okay, human trafficking and sex offense. Okay, so if you're now seeing in his files, like you're kind of related to that.
No, what people are saying is, people took part in sex offenses with minors, with young girls and stuff like that. You get Bill Gates, Rothschilds, Rockefellers.
Bill Gates?
Yes, Bill Gates in the Epstein files. Like multiple files of him, like multiple pictures of Bill Gates in the Epstein files. Prince Andrew of UK, like all those guys.
How did Jeffrey Epstein pull all these guys together?
So Jeffrey Epstein, nobody knows where he got his wealth from, but I can tell you that he got his wealth from the father of Ghislaine Maxwell. They don't say it, but I think he got
from the father of Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, that's Robert Maxwell, the guy we're talking about.
Okay,
the guy was rich.
Okay, he got his wealth from Robert Maxwell.
Yeah, and it was heavily sponsored by Saudi Arabia and
Ghislaine is a woman.
Ghislaine Maxwell is a woman. Yeah.
His girlfriend's father.
Yes, that guy I was telling you about that wrote all this history. The guy was a big man. Yeah. But then he committed suicide on his yacht, which is I think is a lie. He committed suicide on his yacht, and then nobody knows where his wealth went to.
Okay.
This guy had massive wealth, but nobody knows where the wealth went to. So who else but Jeffrey Epstein? And all of a sudden, Epstein, nobody knows what Epstein does. Nobody knows what that guy is. But people are saying that he created Bitcoin. So
the question that I have, like, if Jeffrey Epstein had connections with all these big guys, who then arrested him? Or he was arrested?
It was planned. So I see. Conspiracy is becoming more of a reality right now than less of a conspiracy, because these things are 10 years ago it was a conspiracy.
Because think about it, if Bill Gates, Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, all these big world powers are in the Oprah Winfrey, Oprah Winfrey.
It's all they're all in the yes, they're all in the Epstein files, bro. Bow. Like no bow.
Yeah,
The-
that God.
He's in the Epstein files too.
How?
Because they are worshipping him. Like literally the name of the account.
Oprah Winfrey is in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
The black woman that inspired
Yeah. Or they're all in the Epstein files.
Jesus.
By the way, did you know that Martin Luther King Jr. was a Jew?
Okay.
Was heavily sponsored by Israel.
Okay. I thought you were about to say that as well.
No, think about it. They was heavily sponsored by the same people that are currently trying to push for a world war.
Yeah.
That's why. So now think about it. Okay, so the reason why the Epstein files was released is not as what people think. Oh, is that this war is to cover up the Epstein files. No. As a matter of fact, they needed to do it. So you know what you guys are up against, but they're trying to tell you that this is what you guys are up against, but you guys can't do shit about it. Like we as common man can't do shit about it. They tell us that you guys are actually run by evil people.
Yeah.
Like the way people have been thinking, like bad people run the world. They tell us bad people run the world, but we as this thing can't do shit about it. And then they go into a war that is basically structured. Like the way Iran, like man,
guy,
the war is basically like, in as much as I'm trying to explain to you what the context of the war is, everybody that is playing a part, everybody is playing a part. Every single nation is playing a part. That's why this is going to be World War III.
There is going to be World War III.
So let me explain to you. Let me just finish explaining the whole magnitude of the war. Israel bombs Saudi Arabia's Aramco, one of the biggest oil refineries in the world.
Yeah.
But then, why would Israel bomb Saudi Arabia's oil refinery when it's supposedly working with US, and the whole point of this is to take down Iran's nuclear weapon? So that means Saudi Arabia, since it's working with US, should also be working with Israel.
Yeah.
Biggest, but Israel bombs Saudi Arabia's oil plants. Israel bombs Lebanon. Israel bombs Bahrain, and like, why is Israel bombing all those countries? So now this goes back to 1854. When a guy named Albert Pike, a Jewish Freemason. Do you know what Freemasons are?
What?
Freemasons are an occult group.
Okay.
Yeah. In Stranger Things, they showed us Stranger Things is Freemason, but I'm not going to go into that. So they showed us this guy, right? He writes a letter to a guy named Mazzini. Yes, Albert Pike writes a letter to Mazzini. And in the book, this is 1854, mind you, that is the 19th century. He wrote the letter, and the letter was basically talking about the 3 world wars. 3 world wars, and we only know of 2. Do you get? So the first world war was the same way I explained to you. The Bolshevik takes the Tsars out of the picture of Russia and becomes the becomes the leaders of the Russia. Do you get? The second one was against he wrote it in a letter in 1854. Like he's more of like a fortune teller, or more of like a prediction, or more of like, this is what should happen.
A plan.
Yes, a plan.
Or a direction.
An instruction of this, how everything should happen. Do you get? And then he writes the second World War, the Nazi fights the Jews.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Then the Third World War, which has not happened, is against the political Zionists and the Islamic world.
The Islamic world.
The Islamic world.
Like Islam's worldwide.
Yes.
And who are the political Zionists?
Political Zionists. Israel and US.
Okay.
Now let me explain, because I actually took time to read what was about Third World War, right? I took time to read about the Third World War, right?
Yeah.
The Third World War was basically like, first of all, the Third World War was like, it's all about. So in the Third World War he was explaining, right? He said that the political Zionists would fight the Islam world. Then they drag in the Christians. So that's the Jews work with the Christians to fight off Islam.
Yeah.
And then they'll go through a war with them, or a world war with them. Yeah. And then at the end of the war, there would be like a confusion amongst all religions.
There'll be a confusion amongst all the religions.
which will now usher in the Luciferian doctrine as the savior.
What's the Luciferian doctrine? Let me guess. It's about the devil.
Yeah. So like that's the whole like conspiracy about this thing now, right? Yeah. Now you see that you're saying that Israel is going after what's it called? All this Islamic world, right?
Yeah.
They went after Ayatollah, what's it called? The reason why they actually went after these guys because there's something called the Shia Muslims and the Sunni Muslims. The Shia Muslims and the Sunni Muslims. Okay. Shia Muslims are the extremists. They're like the bombers. Yes, those guys. And Iran is like the fortress of the Shia Muslims. But in as much as they all are like, in as much as they have this divide, they all still respect one another. Do you understand? Do you get? So what we saw was crazy, man. What we saw was crazy. They killed the what's it called? Now the Muslims are in their mind are thinking, they killed our leader. The extremists now in their mind are like, yo, the Christians and the Jews killed the leader. And now, you know how throughout this whole Israel and this thing, they've been baiting what's it called? The Christians to join in the war. Why did they use Nigeria? Why was Nigeria used? Nigeria was actually used to actually Muslims were killing Christians last year.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's how Nigeria was basically used to bait this whole idea of the Christians and the Jews are working together to fight the Islam world. So as much as it's conspiracy, the world is shaping up to look like what that guy literally said. Because that guy literally wrote that thing in 1854, and the way the First and Second World War went is the same exact way he wrote it in the book. And it's just when he Third World
predict the future.
I don't think it was prediction. I think the world is, you know how people say, the world is staged already. Like I think the world is just a play, and what we as human beings are just witnessing the play right in front of us.
Oh, like it has already been scripted.
Yeah, already been scripted already.
And Trump and Bill Gates and the rest of the others, they're just the actors.
Yeah, they're just the actors basically.
They're just the actors. Damn.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know where to start with this whole like conspiracy theory stuff. I honestly don't know where to start with this whole conspiracy theory
because
stuff. It's like I said on episode 51. The problem I have with conspiracy is that it's never ending, man. Like it's never ending.
The theory about this conspiracy stuff is that I used to see it as conspiracy until Jeffrey Epstein files came out. Think about it. We've all been, how that guy literally came out and said, Elon Musk is a bad guy because if you want to make that kind of money, you have to dip your honest. Do you know? I 100% believe that guy is saying the truth because space does not exist, right? Space does not exist. Nobody's ever gone to the Mars or to the moon or anything like that. Right? So why does Elon Musk want to take us to the Mars when space does not exist?
Where is he actually trying to take us?
Space, exactly. Where is he actually trying to take us? Take us to Mars, that is a red hot planet, like like hell, bro. And think about, see, Elon Musk is Jewish. The top 10 richest men in the world are all Jewish. Larry Ellison, Sergey Brin, Larry Page. I checked this before, like coming back to Enugu State when I was in Lagos. I was curious about this whole nonsense. I went to go and search top 10 richest men in the world. Jeff Bezos, Larry Ellison, Larry Page, Sergey Brin. Think about it. Except for the Nvidia guy, that one is not Jewish, right? Jesse Wang, that one is not Jewish. Other than the rest are all Jewish. Why? Top 10 richest billionaires in the world. The first man to become a trillionaire is fucking Jewish.
He's the best man to become a trillionaire.
Elon Musk is going to be the first man to become a trillionaire.
Yeah.
So it's looking less of a conspiracy in my eyes.
Yeah, more of like a reality.
And more of reality, because literally everything that you conspire or that were all conspiracy just came to life with the Epstein files. So man, that's like
that Bill Clinton part, like I don't know, man. Like what sort of demonic obsession is that?
Like he wants to depopulate the world.
No, he was looking at it and he was smiling, guys. You know, like when you're looking at old photos of your childhood. He's learning how to drag it out, man. And his wife, Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Hillary
You
Clinton.
see when they were interviewing her,
Yeah.
like kind of like investigating in court and stuff like that. That woman is brilliant.
Yeah, she was like trying to evade the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
I
was not
watched it
even
now.
because they were asking her questions like, how did you feel when you saw
Yeah,
your
how did you
husband
feel?
being massaged by
Yeah,
young
you now say that she cannot.
my personal opinion is of no use.
Yes,
That she
yes,
said
yes,
something of fact.
exactly.
And then they asked Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was saying rubbish. His lawyer had to step in.
Yeah.
But if not, he would have just said shit that would have ended. Man.
Like they don't really care if the truth, because they want the truth to come out and basically tell you guys in your face that there's nothing you can do about it. Jeffrey Epstein is supposedly meant to be dead. Apparently he's alive.
The person is alive.
Yes, but like it's not like widely known.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So they know what they are doing. Trump is supposedly, it's like right now, what did Trump say about this war? He said that he was anointed by Christ. That this war is meant to usher in Jesus Christ. Like there's literally a report on a news channel, right, where this guy said across all the service members of every country, like every US service members, were being told this thing, that Trump has been anointed by Christ to fight this war. War that would just be about nuclear weapons. Like literally, the US, America has nuclear weapons, Israel has nuclear weapons, Pakistan has nuclear weapons, but Iran all of a sudden, because of Iran was developing nuclear weapons, Jesus now has anointed Trump to fight the fucking war. The same Jesus, right? Like, let's think about it. How did Jesus anoint a Jew for crying out loud?
It's a lie.
This is literally someone that said that the first Jewish president. They literally called him the first Jewish president. Trump is Christian, by the way. But then, when he was doing one talk about Bibi Netanyahu and Israel and everything, they called him the first Jewish president. Like for some reason, they called him a Jew for some reason. Like literally on live TV, they called him, let's congratulate the first Jewish president, that kind of thing. Like one guy would literally hold him and say, my first Jewish president. But now he's anointed by the same Jesus Christ to fight the war. And I said that this war will usher in Armageddon. That's the coming of Christ. Literally, go look it up. The servicemen, what they told the servicemen, go look it up. What was being told to service troops.
Yeah. And like it's like everything that is happening is like, if you look at it from the bigger, like from a bigger point of view, you see that like the Bible already laid out all these things. So maybe man is doing their own. Like they think it's free will. Like this is where the whole thing of free will and determinism comes in. Maybe they think that they are doing their own. Yeah,
there's no conspiracy for that too.
Yeah,
but then
they think that they're doing their own free
because
will
in the Quran,
and determinism stuff. But maybe they're actually doing what like the Bible mapped out. Because if you're talking about the first book that mapped out history, it's actually the Bible.
In the Quran, right? The Quran literally is also predicting everything that's happening right now. The same way the Bible is predicting things that's happening right now. The same way the Tanakh is predicting things that's happening right now. Guy, I've seen like there's conspiracy to all these things. Do you know that Christianity was founded 350 years after Christ? 350 years after Christ. But nobody talks about this. But let's just end it there on that whole conspiracy of Christianity there.
Because we've given you like a lot of shit to like think about, and personally myself, I'm even confused. So I wonder who is listening to this thing. So whatever your thoughts are, share. Maybe you can ask Tony, because Tony is the guy that knows all this stuff. So you can ask Tony whatever your thoughts or your comments are, just share, and we'll be with you next week Saturday.
Peace.